It's Sunday.
You know when people are like,
we're having fun though.
you know when people are like, hi, I'm this and I do this. I'm not good at that.
No,
It's not my thing.
We're not going to do that.
Okay, good.
We've already started.
Oh, have we?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So it's like, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good but overwhelmed. Yeah, I feel different things all the time at the moment. So there's no consistency.
And art and fashion, where did it all come from?
My parents like to remind me I've always drawn dresses. Never really drew abstract art or did anything like that, but I always illustrated fashion.
And was it something that when you started doing it, did it come to you, or?
It's one of those things where I've just known.
Yeah.
Like since I was young, I've just known that's what I meant to do. And I've never really doubted. Sometimes you do, everyone doubts themselves, but I've never really doubted my designs, so to speak. My art, I doubt constantly. When you look at something for so long and you fixate on it and you're a perfectionist,
Yeah,
it's
totally.
easy to...
It's like that with music for me.
Yeah, you hear one little ding and you're like, oh, you just hear that every time you hear the song. Yeah.
Need to do it again. It's like fear is this dude that just hangs around me all the time, and he has to be like, hey, do you want to come back in the house?
Yeah.
Because it's just a bit scary out there today. It's a lot more comfy watching Netflix and having chocolate like we had last night.
Or like, remember me?
Yeah, remember me.
Haven't seen me in a few days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It can play absolute fuckery with me.
Same.
But I feel there's so much to like those lines. That there gives me anxiety.
It was really hard, but you practice long enough, you get better at it.
Because we're talking earlier on about how, you were doing it freehand or at the start. Like, is that ridiculously hard?
That's very hard. Like I have a few artist friends that have tried to do that and they've said that is actually a lot harder than what we thought. So when you look at there, you're like, oh, that's like a perfectly balanced face and woman. But
Get comfy.
yeah, but when you're doing it, it takes a while to get that balance right. You're drawing one continuous line without taking your
Pen off.
paper. But so I like to keep that. I like to honour that tradition, but I do a draft with pencil.
Gotcha.
I feel like I have to. Otherwise, my clients might not be happy with the result.
They're like, oh, that
sometimes
doesn't look like a...
Yeah, and then, it always becomes a little bit more abstract if you do that. If you go straight to ink, it might be, it might work, but it might not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you look back and is there anything that sticks out to mind, like with your proudest moments? Now we've got to this point where you're at now, where we're talking, things have got a little bit busier for you.
Yeah.
Do you look back over time and reflect on some of the things that you're really proud of?
Sometimes, like when I'm feeling overwhelmed, which is especially at the moment, I look back to where I was 2 years ago. And then that's kind of like, there's no real moment where I've been like, yeah, I've made it, because I always feel like I could work harder on something. But I guess if you're going to compare what my life was like 2 years ago to now, it's like completely different. So I'm proud about that.
Yeah.
I'm proud I was able to turn that around kind of on my own.
Yeah.
Completely.
What was the driving force on that, do you think?
I was just really unhappy with my day-to-day life. I didn't even know I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I just realised that.
Was there a moment that you can think of that you just hit it and you're like, no, I need to do something about this?
I guess it started, I worked for a women's brand for like 7 years and I did styling, which was kind of more like retail on steroids. So it was still on a retail level and they wouldn't really let me do much in terms of creativity there. Like if I wore a skirt as a top, like I always used to do something a little bit different and always get pulled aside. No, you're not allowed to do that. That's not on brand.
Okay.
And I remember I used to sell what I was wearing the way I was wearing it, but it wasn't good enough for their conservative, which is fine. They've run their business however long.
Yeah, of course.
It worked for them, so whatever. And then I left there, and that took a lot for me to find. I could not find a job anywhere. You can't really find much in the fashion industry when you're so creative because it's a lot of, in Australia, it's a lot of you're just reading numbers more or less. You're going
on what the trends are doing.
Yeah, and what you're selling and what you're selling more of. It is a money-making industry, obviously, like everything is. But generally, there's no designers. At some companies, they just have buyers that go overseas and pick something from a designer and then come back and copy it. That's essentially what it
And would that rattle your gears? Because that would rattle my gears.
That wouldn't work for me because I don't look at numbers. I can't.
Yeah. That would frustrate me just to follow, everything that everyone else is doing.
Well, it's hard. And then I was like, when you look at me on a resume, there was nothing that I could do that people, But anyway, that aside, I finally found another job.
Yeah.
And it was actually just down the road. And they were like my dream. It sounded like my dream come true. And then you get there and they promised me all these tasks. And then I didn't. It was in the fashion industry too. And I just didn't feel like I belonged there.
Okay.
I had that same feeling, like there's more for me out there.
Yeah.
And they were pretty understanding because I decided when I was there that I was going to start my clothing label and that I might need to scale it back part-time. So I was asking a bit much, but they'll call you that because they were obviously a small business too, trying to cut costs where they could.
Yeah.
So I made sure when I was there I did so much work, and then when I was not there I was trying to work on my own thing.
Great idea.
Yeah, but that didn't work for long. It wasn't, me and the manager and the boss kind of didn't see eye to eye on some things. And
it was your way, you just had a vision on certain things, the way things looked, and it just didn't line up.
I also felt like I was kind of being treated in a way that wasn't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wasn't right.
Yeah.
So if I defended myself, they didn't, anyway, I don't like to talk too much
of
about
course.
that, but we
But
get the
that's
gist
the
that it
feeling.
wasn't an ideal workplace to be in, not a good environment for me.
Then there's that leap of faith moment.
One day, I'm on my way to work. So this is what happened. All my life, I just let other people make my decisions. And I guess in this situation, it's the same. One day I got sent to work and they said, oh, just have a meeting, and I got fired. Yeah. Like, we'll just step out for a meeting. No, don't stress. It's nothing big. And then they fired me. And I was like, dumbfounded. I was like, the reasons were that I was essentially a bully, and and if you knew me more, and my friends laughed at that because I can't.
You don't come across.
I'm not a bully.
You don't
But people needed to say what they have to say on paper so that I don't get legal action taken against them.
Absolutely.
So that was one of those situations.
Yep.
And then I kind of I was really upset, but I thought, okay, you've given yourself 24 hours. I went home. I was calling Fair Work Australia. It was really hard to get through to anyone. So I was like, oh, am I going to spend the rest of my life calling Fair Work Australia, or am I going to do something about this?
Yes,
So then that's when I started. I literally the next day I got on the sewing machine.
Yes.
I went to Spotlight.
Time to grind.
And I just made an outfit that was the most ill-fitting outfit. And then I took a photo of it and posted on Instagram. And literally from there, a friend that worked for a shoe company said, we're doing a shoot. We're shooting this model. Do you want to make a dress? Made a dress. And then people then rolled in and became custom-made clients.
Just off that one, taking a risk there.
Well, I forgot to mention in the interim that I did go to a wedding and I wore a big sequin dress.
Okay.
Yeah, and then that was right before I got quite.
At the wedding, people were
Yeah, I was so anxious about it because no one had really worn sequins. Mm-hmm. And then I got to this wedding and everyone was like, where's that dress from? And then I went out after.
Stop it. I know it.
Yeah, made it. No. And then I went out after to the Albion and everyone kept stopping me. Where's that dress from? Where's that dress from? And I'm like, that's when I knew, okay, you're onto something.
Great.
That was my testing little night.
Yeah.
And then, after about a week later, I got fired. Yeah. And then.
That's a sign.
Yeah.
That is a sign.
Well, sometimes things move around. I found that they were the feeling of not belonging wasn't enough for me to step away from a situation because I felt the money, what am I going to do about money?
Scared. There's that fear-based
and
thing,
then
friend.
How am I going to pay for my phone bill?
Yeah.
So then getting fired pushed me and I didn't have anything to fall back on.
I rate that.
Yeah.
The universe does.
Yeah, it does. It pushes you. When you're not listening, it'll make you do something.
Yeah. And you just got to go with it.
Yeah.
You really do.
Yeah, you do. But when you feel like that's where you need to be and everything else just flows really nicely.
Yeah.
Because that's where you need to be.
I love
and
that.
then things just happen from there.
And we had a chat this week. You messaged me, and in one of the comments, it was you've got to trust your gut.
Oh yeah,
Trust your gut. So when something's happening, and you're not feeling it.
Yeah,
you just got to
still don't sometimes, but
no?
you learn.
You learn.
You learn. Yeah.
And was that Because I like to do a little bit of, a question, like almost questionnaire, and I sent you through some stuff during the week, and one of the things that really stood out to me was your battle with anxiety and your battle with, how fear and how that's had a bit more of a relationship with you than other people.
Yeah.
How has that impacted the journey for you, and when did that start?
I think it started from a younger age, but I didn't really know what it was until, you go and get professional help for it, and they kind of give you that word. I knew it does run in my family, so I wasn't a foreign thing to have. But I mean, I'd felt like that for so long, and I never really gave a name to it. I just thought that was normal.
Yeah.
To be like, I don't know if I want to walk here or there, and I don't know what I want to do, so I'm just going to sit down and feel like my heart's beating, and and I want to cry, but I don't, and I want to go for a run, but I don't want to move, It's a bit like that. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I want to sleep, but I can't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe people talking about me. I don't know what they're saying.
The voices just coming through the head.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time?
No, I don't. No, I think I've always had it, like from a young age.
Wow.
I can kind of remember it being really prominent when I was at uni though. But I wasn't sure if that was too many coffees or...
Which is a big part, they say.
Yeah.
Because having 7 coffees probably isn't a good thing.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of that. There's times where I'm like, nah, I'm not going to have coffee today. I'm going to be good. Just maybe limit myself to 1 because I get real fidgety.
So it's a bit of Russian roulette after you've had that first one a day.
And then it just gets you and it just spirals. And then all of a sudden you're just like, I just love coffee so much. I want to have 4. Was there a time there at uni where, did you ever feel, because for me, I have times where I just want to stay home, and I don't want to leave the house. I screen everyone's calls, and my friends that are close to me know that, and some of them push through and be like, fucking pick up your phone, Sean. You've been a dickhead. I'm coming over. Going through uni, did you feel like fear really tried to hold you back? And can you remember a time where you've pushed through?
It really held me back.
Yeah.
I think it held me back the entire time. I didn't really do anything with fashion because I studied fashion. I didn't really do anything with it until 2 years ago, and I graduated in 2012. Well, I would have been 22 when I graduated, and I started things when I was 28.
And then you've gone into obviously...
I obviously worked in the industry and stuff like that, but I didn't do anything design, fashion related, and my teachers didn't like me. They said, maybe you should be a writer instead.
Wow.
Because I did have a good thesis at the end. Fear won when I was at uni.
So 1-0 to fear.
Yeah. And then I've taken it back now.
When did you go, fuck you, fear? When did it change? When did you start getting on top of it?
You just get over it. Okay. Like, I'm like, I can't live like this anymore. I can't let this stop me. Yeah. It's stopping me, and it's stopping me from being happy, and it's stopping me from being in relationships. It's stopping me from having better relationships with my friends and my family. Just like man up, face up to it, and stop letting it do anything. And then it's a fight. It's you versus you all the time. It doesn't go away.
In your notes this week, I read that. And you're like, it's not something that it just goes.
It doesn't go away. It lingers in the back sometimes. It's been popping up a bit lately.
Backseat.
As we've been discussing. But, all you can do is do what you feel like everyone that suffers from it does something that makes them feel better. Yeah. So you just got to find what makes you feel better. Yeah. And run with that and know that it'll pass, even if you feel like
you're going to die.
Yeah. You're going to combust.
Yeah, you're going to die. What are some of the things you do when you feel like you're going to die?
I go for a walk. I went for a lot of walks this week.
I go. You'd be a good cook.
Me? Is it because I'm Italian?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not.
Are you not?
I'm learning.
Are you?
I'm learning, yeah. Most of the time, or what else? I do try and cook sometimes, and then I exhaust myself, and then I stop.
Italians, we've got a reputation.
Yeah, I know. You can't. It's all or nothing. Yeah, it's all or toast with Vegemite.
Which is amazing. And avocado.
With both. Never done that before.
Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, you need to try this.
I'm off avocado at the moment. I feel like a good avocado is based on what it's mixed with and not what the avocado taste is. Now. Yeah.
Okay.
We've gone off on a tangent.
No, but I love it. But this is an argument I'm willing to step to.
I feel like the good avocado is a result of the goat's cheese on top, the oil, the salt, the pepper, the lemons on the lemon squeeze on top. It's not actually the
avocado.
avocado.
Oh my word! I don't know how I feel.
Can you
about
just?
it. Can we cut?
Do we
the
have an
camera?
avocado here, and could you bite into one and enjoy that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think the thing about an avocado, and I like that we're going off topic here because that's totally fine.
Yeah.
The thing about an avocado is the buttery. It's kind of like a replacement for margarine if you want. Like
It can be bitter though.
it can.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect time. You need to get an avo at its like right the sweet spot.
Yeah.
You can't get it. You can't get a hard avo.
But that's also hard to do too.
It's an art.
It is. So what you buy it hard, you let it out for a bit, and then you put it in the fridge when you feel like it's almost ready. And
Well,
then
I'm feeling guilty these days with all this stuff about not touching stuff. I'm going into Safeway and Coles, and I'm trying to, touch these avos like a ninja. So like I've got this. Yeah. But I'm sort of like everyone walks past, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna grab this avocado. And then I'm poking every avocado, and then people looking at me like, where those fingers been? And then I'm just grabbing every avocado because
touching your face and then
I'm
grabbing
touching
more.
the face, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and I'm grabbing avocados.
Maybe wear gloves.
Okay,
Yeah. Wear gloves.
wear gloves.
And then, touch them there, and then
Okay.
people wouldn't look at you so crazily. Weird times that we're in.
Weird times that we're in. Speaking of weird times, with all this stuff going on, how has that affected your work pre-corona
Yeah.
to post? Has it been difficult for you?
I mean, it's been difficult in the way that you wouldn't think. So I get ideas sometimes, and I've just recently welcomed in a business partner into my label, which has been really good, been a weight off my shoulders in some ways, because creatives aren't meant to do it all.
No.
But I had this idea when we all were hearing rumours about lockdown, and I thought, I like what the skirt I'm wearing now was meant to go ahead and be made in my new collection, so that you can get a gist of what I make. I thought, well, no one's going to need sequins or anything glittery or puffy or chill or anything for the next however long. What am I going to do? And I was like, I'll just make tracksuits. Let's make comfortable clothes that people can actually wear all the time.
It's huge.
And and not knowing how huge it would be, I called my business partner, and he's like, yep. He's like, do whatever you want. Do whatever you want.
Complete opposite to what you used to.
Yeah. Usually I'm like, no, I don't know. Should I do it? I don't know. Should I do it?
Do whatever you want.
Anyway, got that ball rolling quite quickly. It's only been a month or a little bit longer since we launched that, and I feel like it's been about 6 years. But yeah, I did that. It was a bit challenging in terms of shooting everything, because it was really at that time where you weren't really meant to be in a group of more than 3, which was fine. We social distance, model, had to tuck in our own things. Photographer and me from the sidelines yapping away. Usually you wouldn't realise how much you need to go up to people and do things, but yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, you're looking so good. And then
it was stressful. Photo shoots, I don't know if you know, they exhaust me. Just being
I didn't
there.
know that they exhaust you.
Yeah, you didn't
I'd
know.
be like, a beep, 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 beep.
Yeah.
Samantha's exhausted. I can feel it.
They're not the biggest of shoots, but between that, then you've got to, edit all the photos and do all that stuff and do the website and,
I've actually noticed doing this stuff. It's bloody hard work. And are you someone that likes to control every phase?
I'm only learning now to accept help of other people.
Okay.
Because some people are better at it than you are, which is also fine.
And how's that going for you?
It's good. It's been good. We've had a few challenges because sometimes, you need to communicate better. So it's me learning that, I'm very creative and I see things in pictures, but the person I'm talking to might not. Yeah. So you've really got to be, and it's hard to do that in an email. I prefer phone calls.
What do they call that? Is it like neuro-linguistic programming or something?
I don't know.
Where there's you take it, some people need to process something when they write it down, other people need to process
I need to draw things,
Some people need to hear it.
Yeah, but emails, don't like emails.
Is it bad that I need all of it?
Nah, I think you need all of it.
Yeah,
I think everyone needs all of it.
I'm a bit of a goofball like that. I need to write things down, see things, say things.
Yeah.
And then I say it wrong and then fuck it up and then come back. And
that's why we need to communicate.
Yeah.
That's why I felt like I need to communicate with people. But how stressful it did get. And then I found my knight in shining armour saved me. But So we launched just plain tracksuits, like just jumpers, one of them,
Right.
matching pants, grey,
Yep.
couple tie-dye T-shirts I dyed myself, and they sold out within less than 24 hours once we launched them. Really didn't have huge runs, but what had more than what I'd normally would, and everything just went boom, sold out, and I'd like got a big day of packing ahead of me tomorrow, but whatever.
Australia Post.
Yeah. Might need to start an account with them.
Yeah.
So that's what happened, and then from there it's kind of just flowed. You can't really plan too much ahead. Usually brands work about 6 months to a year ahead.
Okay.
I'm literally just working maybe a week ahead and getting what I can and what's available to me.
That would be stressful, I can imagine.
But it got to the point where I think the third release I did a tie-dye pink tracksuit. Yeah.
There it is.
And I was doing it myself.
So let me have a look at this. This is really cool. So people that are listening, this is like a pink tie-dye or strawberry, I like to say, to look after my strawberry friends out there. And I'd wear this.
You pull it off.
I would actually wear this. And is it just female stuff?
I mean, it can go both ways, but because it's only really me, the team's quite tiny.
Because it's only tiny, you're just sticking with the female stuff.
Yeah, just marketing towards women at the moment, but I have had a few guys.
I would definitely wear that.
Yeah, we're bringing out like a darker tone, like a bit more of a...
Maybe past that. Oh, I've just got someone over here as well. Thanks, Mol. Molly's the best. We've got another thing here. We're bringing it. So what's this one
So
here?
this is me doing it myself. I was under the pump. So when we released the pre-order for them, the pink ones, I've never seen so many orders in my life or expected so many orders in my life. And then I found a professional that could assist me with tie-dyeing and do things that I couldn't do myself.
Yeah.
Because, the house was a mess.
Is that a dress?
No, it's an oversized t-shirt.
Oversized.
So I'm all about wearing men's clothes. Like I only sometimes I'll wear like a men's jumper and women's something.
So we could slot into it.
Huh? Yeah, I feel like maybe you should just pop the jumper on top. If it works, see what it looks like.
All right.
It should be right.
Gone. And we are back now. Oof.
Looks good.
I've been eating quite well in ISO. I am exploring the art of extra spaghetti 5 times a week. Yeah, as you can tell. But this is great.
That's good. You fit in a women's size, like 10.
Excuse me, what?
Men's size.
It's uni.
I don't even know men's size.
Let's just agree it's uni. All right?
Yeah, gotcha.
I'm really happy with this, and thank you for giving me this. Nah, I'm only joking.
They're like liquid gold at the moment. I've had to take them off the site for the minute.
With your website, how does it go with like traffic and stuff like that for like your paintings and that? Is it really tough for volume? Or does it hurt like with a lot of people going on there?
I think it's hurt the past couple of weeks, but we're working to deal with that at the moment. But yeah, websites are challenging. Yeah, and a lot of graphic designers are flat out at the moment, and web designers are absolutely flat out. Like a lot of creatives are, because a lot of people are looking at their businesses and changing things and getting on top of everything while they can. I try to do it myself. Yeah. I've learnt a lot along the way, but there's only...
How good is learning to like Canva and then into...
Canva, good old Canva.
Good old Canva.
I know how to use Photoshop and stuff though.
Photoshop. And what's the other one? InDesign?
InDesign, no, I never know. Canva's, I prefer Canva.
Same.
Quickly just throw things together.
Yeah. It's just like, Instagram story.
This is not a paid promotion for Canva.
It's not. It's not. Now, for people that aren't watching us on our YouTube channel, we are pulling up one of your... What are these called? I've always...
Continuous line. Or what I call them, continuous line or one-line drawing.
Yeah, there's a bit happening there. I like it. So with the painting, is there any people that have reached out to you?
My thing is like the everyday person.
Great.
So I don't really look at, obviously, anyone that wants my artwork is
someone special.
A star to me.
That is so
it's a star to me. So there's no one that screams out more than anyone else. I'm pretty like, I guess it's more just the fact that, especially this style, I can do other styles. It's gone crazy. And it's good. Like I think I've done over 100, well over 100 of pieces like this, either custom or sold through my online store. And it's weird. Like you're like, wow, I don't even know these people. At the start, like I knew who they were, like friends. I think that felt sorry for me in buying my art, but now, so I knew where my art was, and now I don't know where it is.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about balance and how you create the balance in your life, because I could imagine with everything that you've got going on. And, you know, it's like myself when I'm trying to do podcasts and then sing and do all this sort of stuff. How do you then balance and get like an equilibrium?
It's really hard at the moment. I'm trying to work at that. So before going into this new collection, I had a good balance of things. I have problems with boundaries too, with when I can be contacted from clients and stuff. So I've really had to, because that can really, I don't know, they can really, when you're trying to have time off, that can really put you back in work mode. Yeah. And I never realised how important time off was until recently.
So switch off.
Yeah, it's very hard for me to switch off. So how have I been tackling that?
And you said before that, you know, you're not jumping on social media.
Yeah.
Massive.
Trying something new where I turn off my notifications.
Right.
Just for a Sunday. You know, I know that I do need to be reached most of the time for the time being, but at least if I have one day where I can just be me outside of everything else, it'll probably refresh me so I'm better and I have better ideas and more creativity, more patience with everything. But yeah, so at the moment it's a bit skewed. But I've been trying to make sure I exercise and do like a YouTube video or something like that. Right. And then I go for a long walk. And if I feel like I'm losing it later on in the day, I'll go for another walk. Great. Listen to a funny podcast or something. I'm just grateful I could be who I can be and people accept it. I'm grateful I've gotten where I've gotten. Yeah. And
And the advice that you would give your 18-year-old self.
I
like to think the one that stood out to me was stop caring about what people think.
Yeah. I think that holds a lot of people back creatively because you get a lot of like, if for example, my businesses are based on Instagram. So I've got to throw myself out there all the time if I want to, you know, get where I want to get. And you get a few haters along the way from your past. Of
course.
They're, who does she think she is? Like you can almost hear their thoughts sometimes. You have to not give a shit what those people think because they're not living your life, you are. And if they're happy working where they're working, where that isn't a necessity for them to make their money and make their living and do their thing, well then they don't get where you're at. And if they're not getting where you're at, they're not your friends. Essentially, you got to do things like that. And it's hard for me. Sometimes I'm like, I'm posting too much, but really, it's your work, and if you believe in what you do, that's the side of your work. Like if if you're trying to do comedy, do your thing. Don't worry about what people are going to think, because at the end of the day, like if I cared about what people thought a year ago, I wouldn't be where I was now. I'd be too worried about what they're doing.
Now, there's another one here, which I really liked, and we touched on it earlier on, which was trust your gut.
Oh, yeah. Lots of exclamation marks there.
Lost. There's a heap there. Yeah. And I think that hearing your story and getting towards the end now, it just shows that, you know, early days for you when, you know, you were in that, wouldn't say toxic, but
well, you don't feel right.
Yeah.
You know, don't, even when like you're dating someone and something doesn't feel right, you push through it. Yeah. Oh no, it's just, you know, you were hurt in the past. No, trust it.
Yeah,
trust it.
Gut. Yeah, I love
it's telling you something.
Yeah.
So in all areas, but it's hard to, because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make logical sense.
Now, before we knock things on the head and complete, I just want to say thank you very much,
thank
firstly,
you.
for coming down. Anyone that wants to check out your stuff, where do we find you?
So my website, where I currently hold my clothing and art, is samanthalentini.com.au. My clothing is by Samantha Lentini, B-Y.
B-Y. Yeah. Thank you so much again.
You.
It's been an absolute pleasure hearing your story.
Yeah, no.
And it's just been a blessing having you come down. all this stuff during ISO. Hopefully that all gets better for everyone and we can just continue on our merry way.
Yes.
And until next time.
Yes.
See you later. Thanks for joining us, and make sure you hit subscribe, hit follow. Thank you for listening to Seani and Friends. And until next time, ta-da.